Hey everybody, I've had 2 subscribers that have very specifically asked me to do a demo on how exactly you do freezer bag cooking. And so this is the demo that I'm going to do. I've selected this 4 cheese risotto here, okay, from Knorr. Okay, for me the pasta selects don't quite work real well, but this cheese does, and it's a very substantial meal for you. I'm going to be using the pouch here from Anti-Gravity Gear and a Ziploc bag by SC Johnson, which is BPA free. Okay, for those of you worried about chemical leaching. All right, and I'm going to be using today my Soto stove. That's a new stove that I have. I'm also going to do a kind of I guess a burn rate on it to see how long it takes to heat up the water. Now, one of my lessons learned on this is, you know, with these dinners, you need to look on it and see the cooking time, okay? And realize the longer you boil, the more water evaporates. So if you're going to use a freezer bag cooking where you're going to put the hot water in the pouch and it's not going to be boiling and simmering, you need less water or you're going to have soup. In this particular case, it says you need to do 1.5 cups of water and a cup of milk. So that is 2.5 cups, and then some olive oil. So what I've done in the past for this one is about 14 ounces of water. Okay, so just under 2 cups seem to work out pretty well. And then however long it says to cook it for, in this particular case 10 minutes, you got to go at least 20, okay, on the rehydration cycle. If it's ramen noodles, you know, it's only 3 minutes, so you're going to do it for about 6 or 7. A normal pasta side might be 7.5, so you're going to go 14. All right, so let's get at it. Okay, I've switched over to my action cam to get a little bit wider angle. For those that run out of freezer bags on the trail, or if you're really afraid about the chemical leaching, you notice the inside of these Knorr, some of them have a metallic lining on the inside. Okay, so you can use these. Although what I found is you get them really full and it's really hard to stir without making a mess. But you can do that. Okay. Now you're also going to need to have something with it, with the meal, to be able to help complete it a little bit, especially on the protein side. Okay. And to help balance things out, you've got some options on the trail. You've got Spam, you've got chicken, and the other favorite, I can't quite reach it here, is tuna. Okay, I personally don't like mixing tuna in things, but a lot of people do. I just have an aversion to having tuna mixed in anything. So what I would do, I just eat it. While I'm heating up my water, I'll just eat my tuna. But if you're going to do tuna, try to get some of this that's got the oil in it, okay? Like for example, this is 180 calories. If you look at the tuna packs that have water, they're like 80 calories, okay? And you really need to have the calories while you're hiking. Great source of protein. 18 grams of protein on that one, that yellowfin. 14 grams here on whatever tuna is in this particular packet. That's this one flavored. You know, on this chicken, this is 3 ounces. This protein-wise, this got 17 grams of protein, but it's a little light on the calories, only 80. Your Spam Light here, it's about 130 calories, so it's light on the calories because the fat is lower on this one. And you've got 11 grams of protein. In your Spam Classic here, though, you've got, this is like 2.5, that's 2.5 ounces, same with the other light. It's 210 calories because it's got a lot more fat in it, and only 9 grams of protein. So this is, of your selections here, this is your highest calorie content. It's got your worst protein content, and it's got high sodium. Here there's 830 milligrams of sodium on the light. Sodium's down to 610, and your chicken is down to 270. Let's see, the tuna fish sodiums are 360 and 200. Okay, so kind of depends on where you're at. If it's cold, you haven't been sweating, you might want to keep your sodium down, fat content a little higher. As you get further on the trail where you're burning a lot of your body protein, you're going to need to start really cranking up the protein that you're taking in as you eat. Okay, so for my burn consumption here, let's see, we'll measure this with grams before we start. And looks like it's sitting at 220 grams, 229 grams. Okay, so 229, you have to trust me on that. You probably can't see that from there, but 229 grams. And for water here, it's just kind of regular. I took it out. It's pretty cold here in Florida today. It's about the same temperature as you get out of a spring, and it's about sitting right about 14 ounces. And I will put that on there and bring this up. Get that started, and then technique-wise, I don't blast it. You could blast it, you know, like this. Just crank it way up, but I don't like to waste all that fuel on the sides of the cup. So I'm gonna bring my flame down here, and I'm gonna start a little timer. See how long it takes to bring it up to boil. If you're gonna do mashed potatoes, if you're going to do where all you need is just a hot water, or like ramen noodles, all you gotta do is just get it to the point where it's got bubbles on the bottom. That's about 170 degrees. But this, because this requires you to cook it for 10 minutes, it's a little bit more substantial on the rice, and so I would go ahead and bring this to a boil. I leave my my little Z seat there. That's typically what I would use for a windbreak, although it might need a little bit of help. Normally I would just sit here and hold it, but I'm going to do other things while we're talking. All right, so this is how you're going to find it. When I go to do my resupply, I will take all of my stuff and put it in the bags ahead of time. Okay, because it just cuts down on weight, and you're able to actually roll this up a lot easier than with air, because there's air in here, and it doesn't want to roll like this. Okay, so you can be able to pack this down tight, because you can push the air out of it. All right, so we're going to put it in the sleeve here. Going to open this up, and we're going to choose a meat. And since I'm actually going to eat this for lunch, I'm going to go ahead and choose the Sweet Sue here chicken. So I'm just going to open that up, and we will dump that in. All right. Now on the trail, I'm going to take a spoon. I'm going to dig every little bit of that out of there. Something to think about, and I've done this. Let's say you're using one of your Spams here. You don't like that little congealed, you know, yellow jello-y stuff that's around here. But you don't want to put it in your food. Just want to eat it out of here. Just throw it in the side of the pouch, okay, down the side. And while your food's rehydrating, it'll actually heat this up. Okay, just a thought. Okay, so that's going. We are 2.5 minutes into the heating process there, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and just Ziploc that up, because I'm going to kind of shake it a little bit, mix up that chicken so it's not all clumped up in there. Kind of get it mixed around a little bit. That'll help spread out that seasoning a little bit better too, okay? All right, put that back down on there. At this point, we're just kind of waiting. And while we're doing that, there are some other options. Let's say you're using, I get a little bit of steam coming out of the top here. So let's check it out. Come on. I'm almost boiling. See if I can tip this over so you can see it. I'm at a boil. Okay, that's 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Okay. All right. I'm gonna open this back up now. And we are just going to pour the water in. Try not to pour any of the boiling water on the I guess I'll call it the seal here, up here at the top. Try not to do that, because I have had them kind of mess up and warp, and so they won't seal properly. Okay, so we're going to make sure that this gets totally mixed up real well. Okay, and then we're going to start. We're going to let this, we're just going to kind of lean this up against the rock, and we're going to start, I'm going to start a timer. And I'm going to let it go because it said 10 minutes, so we're going to let it go 20 minutes, and we're going to check it out. Probably about halfway through that, I might open it back up and stir it. I'll have you join me when we do that. In the meantime here, let's see what we used for gas to be able to do that. We had started with 229, and we are at 222, so I used 7 grams of fuel to bring that to a boil. Okay? All right. We'll see you in a little bit. Okay, everybody, I did get ahead of myself just a little bit, but it's okay. It's we can recover. I like to use the Nido whole milk, which is a powdered milk. Unfortunately, every grocery store here where I live isn't carrying it right now. So, but it will work out without any milk. Now it talks about putting some olive oil in. I'm not a big fan of olive oil when I'm hiking, because honestly, unless you're getting a really super high quality olive oil, it's only a certain percentage of the oil that has to be olive oil to actually be called olive oil, and you're not really sure what you're getting. So, but I'm a big fan of butter, and I like to go get something like this. It's like an 8 ounce. It's just like an Irish butter. It's just a really super high quality butter, okay? And this tends to do really, really well. I just put it in a Ziploc bag, and it travels. You know, at nighttime when it's cool overnight, you know, your food in your food bag is kind of cold anyway, and you just bury this in the center of your food bag, throw it in your pack, and it works real well. Maybe towards July and August. You'll have it start to get super soft and leak a little bit. Then you just put it in a second Ziploc bag when it gets to that point. But butter does really well outside of refrigeration. So because I think that risotto is going to taste a lot better with some butter, I'm going to go ahead and put some in. All right. And actually, typically I'd probably leave like one end kind of closed and just open it up like this. And then kind of scoop out what I need. Okay, like that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put it I'm going to go ahead and open this up real fast. Throw that butter in there and it'll melt, and then when I do my stir here in about 5 minutes, all right, I will make sure that I stir that butter around real well, okay? All right. Just wanted to add that back into the conversation, and we're at about 5 minutes. Okay, we've just gone past the 10-minute mark here. Matter of fact, we're about 11 minutes into this, and still plenty of liquid in there. Still feels plenty hot. Just going to stir it here. Yes, it's definitely reconstituting. Just going to stir it a little bit, and then close it back up. And let it go a little bit longer. While it's doing that, I also thought I might mention that if you don't want to get one of these sleeves or make one of these sleeves, this Optimus heat here is something that I used in 2016. I would just cook in here, okay, and then put my hot food down in here like this, put the lid on it, had a piece of Reflectix that I found in a hiker box I put on it, and let it reconstitute that way. Excuse me. Get ready to one of the nice things about it, get ready to eat it. Okay, you can hold it with the little handholds here, keep your hands warm, and then you could eat it that way right out of the container there. Or you could take your freezer bag literally, and just and I watched some people on the trail do this. Just put the freezer bag down in there, and then they had a couple of those paper clips that'll clamp, and they just clamped it up, and they use these for their hydration sleeve, if you will. Another thing you can do if you're using a pot cozy, same thing. You either cook in it, or you can take it out, put your freezer bag down in there, throw your little lid there on top of it, and reconstitute it that way. So if you wanted to go with a little bit a bigger solution, where if you wanted to cook in something, you have that option, and you can also use it as a little cozy. Anyway, so some options there, and we'll be back in a bit. Okay, everybody, it's been about 22 minutes here, and let's check it out and see what it looks like. And yeah, it looks like most of the water's gone. It kind of has the consistency of kind of like tapioca pudding almost. Let's see here. Yeah, water's pretty much all gone. Let me just do a sample here and see if it's cooked. Yes, it is. Now, normally I would just eat it like this. Okay, just go find yourself your log, and you're just going to sit here and you're just going to eat it this way. Okay. I want to show you what the consistency kind of looks like here, and it is hot. This bag is hot. Okay. Now you might be able to see some steam coming up. All right, but it is still pretty hot, but not super hot. Hot enough to eat. Don't have to blow on it. But still a very hot, substantial meal. Looks like the chicken is pretty much dispersed. I'd like to put a little bit of pepper on it if I had it. Maybe a little bit of cayenne. Sorry about the plane flying over. But you know what? It's good. Now, I guarantee you, I'm going to have somebody make a comment about how awful and how irresponsible I am, because of the environmental impact of all these freezer bags on the trail and throwing them in garbage cans and all that's doing to the environment. And somewhere along the line, I'm going to hear about all the chemical leaching that goes on. Well, let me ask you a question. Look at the whole scheme of your life. Do you steam those vegetables in those bird's eye bags that you get in the grocery store, where you can steam the vegetables in the bag? Okay, do you cook in a microwave? Okay, do you use any kind of plasticware in the microwave that you're cooking with? How about the water bottles that you drink soda out of? How about the water bottles you drink water out of? All those petrochemicals are around us in our life. Okay, and yes, we all try to minimize them, but this is also a hiking event. Okay. If you want to go 30 miles over a weekend, you can take whole food with you. No problem at all. It's just when you start doing the really long distance stuff and weight really becomes an issue is when things like this become a practicality. And you just have to weigh it. You just have to weigh it in your life and go, okay, is it worth the risk or not? I didn't want the petrochemical risk the first 900 miles that I hiked in 2016. I thought I'd try it in 2017, and the increased hygiene of using the Ziploc bags versus trying to continually clean out my pot and contaminate streams with food particles and have that be an attractor to bears and things like that. I weighed it, and this is what I chose. So, all right, so for the subscribers that was interested in how you do it, this is how you do it. And it tastes perfectly fine without the milk. It would be better if it had the milk, but the butter does add a richness to it. So, okay, everybody, I hope this helps, and go hike on and enjoy the woods.